Hi again, everyone, and welcome to another episode of RVBusiness Capitol Talk, sponsored by Excel. I'm Rick Kessler, and with me, as always, is Sherman Goldenberg. The both of us, we're from RV Business, and joining us this morning is Phil Ingrassia. Phil is president of the RV Dealers Association, and with us also is Chris Andro. Chris is a former chairman of the RVDA. He's the current chairman of the 2023 RV Dealer Convention Expo. That's the annual event, of course. It takes place every November out in Las Vegas. And Chris, of course, is with Hemlock Hill RV in Southington, Connecticut. That's a mouthful. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us. All right, thanks for having us.
Well, Chris, let's start with a question for you, and that is, given the current market, and let's call it a soft market, but given the current market, is that in any way impacted what you guys are doing for the Convention Expo program?
Yeah, well, I think the current market always dictates what we try to do at the convention, whether the pandemic boom or the Great Recession or one thing I love about this convention, and I love being involved about it, is the input from the dealers on the convention committee and the passion that a lot of our current board members and past board members have about input about this convention. There are past board members. I think there's one that doesn't even own an RV dealership anymore that's still passionate about our convention. So the input about the current market conditions this year was a little bit more challenging. We were dealing with an over inventory situation. We were dealing with, we're dealing with very heavily getting people, motivated to work. People have come back to work, but that motivation doesn't seem to be there. So that was a real big hot button for the committee this year to try to get the sessions developing, to develop, those skill sets to get those people more motivated and different means of motivation. So that is very heavily prevalent, I think, in our convention this year, which I'm really excited for because, here at Hemlock Hill, we have the same issues, and that's the input from the committee.
Let's talk
about. If I could just real quick interject too. I think we've seen a different kind of buyer come in. So there's a lot of on the social media, marketing, communications, how to communicate with the consumers that are coming into the market today. The committee did a great job. There's a number of new speakers that are hitting some of those points as far as sharpening the saw, reaching out to new buyers, and then, of course, trying to get these people that were pandemic buyers to buy again.
Dude, from this distance, late July, you're talking about a convention expo that occurs in early November. What's your anticipation for this convention, good, bad, or ugly?
Well, we're just starting to get dealers registered for the convention. The early bird deadline is at the end of August. So that will really tell the tale year over year. People are deadline driven as far as registration sometimes. People who do register at least one person before that deadline, they'll lock in that early bird rate. So if they're a little bit on the fence of how many people they're going to bring, if they just get one person registered from the dealership, they can be assured of that lower rate going forward. But as far as the vendors and our partners and sponsors for the convention, the exhibit hall has been sold out for weeks. And, it's just really interesting that I think it shows the overall outlook is strong for the whole industry, because we've got a lot of vendors who are looking to build profitable partnerships with dealers, as well as offer solutions to some of the issues that they may be having right now, whether it's, a marketing communications thing, whether it's a training, whether it's financing. All those people will be there at the convention and available for dealers, both new and old friends on the expo floor.
So it's possible that Convention Expo, with the market climbing out, as a lot of guys think right now, may be extremely well timed for the industry at large.
Well, it's an ideal time to get ready for 2024, and check in with everybody. The networking part of it is so valuable as well. You get kind of you take the temperature of the industry, and it just helps you in your decision making moving forward. Wouldn't you say, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. I think to Sherm's point as well about the timing for 2024 is spot on. And the networking thing, Phil, what I've noticed over the last 3 or 4 years, well, it's hard to count 2020, but
Yeah.
even 2019, 18, and then 2021, 2022, the networking opportunities have really increased. And I've found that those opportunities have been incredibly productive for my dealership. More dealers are sharing more information and talking about the market and the conditions that they're in and ideas that they're currently using that are currently working in their dealerships. The whole atmosphere has just changed of our industry, and it's just awesome to be there. And I love it. Gets me going for for the next year. It really does.
Chris, do you find, and maybe I'm leading you with this, but do you find that you've got to bring more than just yourself because there's so much going on there?
Yeah, Rick, I kind of blew that a little bit when I was chair. When you're chairman of RVDA, you basically are just, you go where Phil tells you to go, when you go, what he tells you, and you say what you need to say. So you can't really participate in the convention. And I didn't bring enough people, but last year I brought some more, and this year I intend on bringing more people. And the amount of content is been carved out a little better so that sales managers and parts managers and service managers and even service advisors and shop foremans, they'll benefit from that education track that we really focused on to try to help drive those specific issues that those people are dealing with. So yeah, no, absolutely, the more is better, no doubt.
One of the things that we don't talk about a lot in the industry, because everybody's focused on sales so much, and its data is more readily available on sales, but this fixed operations part, the service and parts part of the dealer's business. We were on a call just a couple of weeks ago with a bunch of dealers, including some very large ones, and the demand for service has not abated at all. So, we've got a big fixed operations portion of the convention, that help dealers be more efficient in that area and help their people deal with the customers and the challenges and improve the repair event cycle time initiative that everybody's in the industry is working so hard on. So, I mean, it would be a very valuable thing for fixed operations people to attend this year. There's a lot of good material on that.
Well, especially the opportunity to get in front of some of those manufacturers and suppliers at some of those meetings. That's just absolutely invaluable.
Yeah,
right. Beyond the workshops, you've got partners in progress meetings.
Right.
You've got other ancillary meetings that vendors are doing, and the vendor training plus part of it, where they can talk about their actual product or service, is really valuable as well. And I think those have become really one of the most popular parts of the convention. Even though they are somewhat proprietary, they're still very, very useful as dealers need to know all the features and benefits of a product, or how to better use things that they already have from certain vendors.
I realize we got an opportunity here quickly to touch on the market. We have an opportunity to, from guys more on the inside, to give us some thoughts on, I guess I'll put it in the form of a question. Is the industry, in fact, as some are telling us, digging out from whatever you want to call this 2023?
Sherm, that's a tricky question right now. I think we're heading in that direction. We were all concerned at the end of last year, and the big talk of the convention is, what are we going to do with all these 22s that are on the ground? And And, obviously the manufacturers have recognized the demand and have, adjusted accordingly, which has been fantastic for our industry, and I really give them kudos for being, responsible that way. And, dealers on the other side have been doing everything they can to try to make sure that the ball keeps rolling. I'm a little concerned about how the rest of this year is going to play out and what the Fed's going to do. But what I've learned is that there's been about a month adjustment time, maybe 3 to 6 weeks adjustment time, reaction to whatever, that interest rate increase.
Mhm.
So, once people get acclimated to that little bit of a bump that they feel in their personal budgets, then they could rebudget, on the flip side. But I'll tell you what's been interesting to me. We just had a 20 group meeting end of June, I think it was, and everybody kind of had the same tone. It's just not that bad. If you listen to the media, you'd think the sky's falling, but it's not that bad. It's actually pretty good. So we're feeling very good about where we're at. I'm feeling fantastic about my inventory, and I know a lot of guys in our group are feeling pretty good about where they're at. So yeah, sure. Are we crawling out of it? Maybe, yeah, maybe we're starting to crawl. I think the next 6 months or 5 months of the year will kind of dictate, where we're going to be and what's going to happen. But I'm excited for 2024.
Go ahead, Rick.
Well, Chris, to your point, I think the next time the Fed meets is September 20th. So whatever impact that meeting might have, we'll know by that 1st of November when we're at Paris, Las Vegas.
Yeah, it's the pain in the butt of the media that leading up to it. What are they going to do? What are they going to do?
The stinking media.
Yeah, you guys. But no, we are. I'm very. This industry, look, I mean, this industry is very resilient and is a fantastic industry to be in. And just to flip back 1 second on the convention and the networking, a lot of times what our dealership does is we'll go into these sessions and we'll learn some new technique or a new way to handle a situation, and then we'll talk to the manufacturers or the vendor or suppliers about it in these networking situations. And then they're like, oh, we should be doing that. We want to do that. And then they go talk to those people, and then it becomes this whole team effort. And it's just, it's so cool. I get kind of chills when that happens.
Back on that convention, RVDA, as we get on our home stretch here, where is it? What hotel in Las Vegas?
Well, we're back at the Paris, which I think is a great venue for our size of a convention. We'll have that whole convention area there. And people who have been there in the past, especially 2021, are going to see a much enhanced experience. We were just still kind of in the pandemic time period there.
Yeah.
Back in 2021. So some of the restaurants and stuff were closed. But since that time, there's a new Martha Stewart restaurant. Guy Fieri's opened a sports bar. There's other restaurants that have filled in that area there. So that will be a great experience for folks. And our secondary hotel, which was Bally's, has now been rebranded Horseshoe. And they've done a number of upgrades to that space as well. So, the facility should be rocking and rolling by the time we're there in November. And we're really looking forward to being back at Paris and seeing everybody. The schedule is up at rvda.org/convention. You can find it right on our website. A lot of the workshops are already up. The Vendor Training Plus schedule is there, as well as the overall schedule and links to book those hotel rooms at either Paris or Horseshoe. So the wheels are in motion big time, and Chris and the committee, I'm reviewing all these news releases going out as far as the new speakers and stuff, and it's just every one of them is wow, it's really great. So I encourage people to check out the website and see what the schedule is.
I got one other show related question before we close out, assuming that works for you, Rick. On the open house, what's the word on the street among retailers? on the open house itself, and our guy's going to be going. It's coming up. September, third week is in September.
Yeah, what I'm hearing is, the excitement to go and see product is always there. It's a little confusing this year because they're having Forest River and Thor are having like a preview next week, I think they are. And that kind of is, for whatever purposes they're doing. So it gets a little confusing, but it's kind of nice that, you go to open house, you kind of get to see everybody there, and then everybody's talking about, well, you going to Vegas, you're going to Vegas, you're going to Vegas, you're going to Vegas. And you're not really conducting business in Vegas, but you're figuring out how you're going to take on 24 with everything you just did at open house. And that's kind of been the pattern that I've seen over the last couple of years.
Not a bad pattern.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people we're talking to are making plans to go to open house for sure. I know, I'll be there looking for hotel rooms. It's always a challenge. So that tells me that, it should be a good theevent. And like Chris said, it's a, it serves its purpose. Our convention serves its purpose. And I think, they're complementary events in some ways. And I do want to thank you both for your work on the top 50, which will be on Wednesday night in Las Vegas during the convention week. And, that has become a big deal and kind of the centerpiece of the event. So, that partnership and continues to pay dividends, I think, for both of us. And it's a really great time to recognize, high performing dealers, I think.
No, thank you.
All right. Yeah, gentlemen, we know your schedules are pretty darn busy. We hear Chris is headed off on some vacation here shortly. And so we really do appreciate your time.
Yeah. Well, no, we appreciate your time, and to explanation point what Phil said, we couldn't thank you guys enough for the top 50. On the dealer side, it's actually kind of fun, when you get in your groups and you're like, you kind of jab each other a little bit, and so we make a little bit of a competition out of it too. So it's a lot of fun, and I do look forward to that. It's one of the best networking things I think we have at our convention, to be honest with you.
Very good. And
All
with
right.
that, gentlemen, thank you once again for your time. And if we don't see you before, we'll see you in Paris.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.